Self-reflection is when we are looking at ourselves and identifying what our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and actions are. If you don't self-reflect, you cannot self-improve. It is not possible. When you start casting blame on somebody else, you are not reflecting on yourself anymore. If we don't self-reflect, we cannot change. That's what happens when you don't self-reflect. You give your power away and you become a victim, and you become a victim of circumstance. When you start saying, I can't control what I think and I can't control what I feel and it's not my fault and they're forcing me to do this and all this stuff like that, you are taking the controller, right? Because this game is kind of like the game of life. You're taking the controller, the thing that controls your life, and you are handing it to somebody else. Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the FCS Prep Podcast, where real change happens right now. I am your host, Dr. Keith Fairclough, and we are back today, right? We just finished the Don't Give Up series, and I have some other things I want to put in there as well. When I build that out, we'll jump back to that. But before we did that, we were doing the Personal Responsibility series, and I told you we'll be back with that one. And so today, we are back talking about personal responsibility. If you remember, personal responsibility is not about blame. It's about empowering yourself. It's about taking control of your life by taking control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions so you can have the best life you could possibly dream of. So we're breaking that down, what personal responsibility looks like. And today we're going to be talking about self-reflection. Yes, self-reflection. What do I mean by self-reflection? Let's just hop right into it. What is self-reflection? Think about it like the Michael Jackson song, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. It's simple as that. Self-reflection is when we are looking at ourselves and identifying what our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and actions are. Our focus is on us. Just like when you look in the mirror, you're looking at your reflection. Your focus is on you. That is what self-reflection is. It's not just looking at yourself, but it's looking at your flaws, the things that are ugly, the mistakes we make, how we can improve. Listen, self-reflection is the path to self-improvement. If you don't self-reflect, you cannot self-improve. It is not possible. We'll touch on that in a second, but I want to finish talking about what is self-reflection, right? And hopefully I'm not beating a dead horse, because I know you guys probably got it by now, but sometimes it's going to be long-winded. In any case, self-reflection, right? So again, it's not just looking at yourself and saying, what can I change? But it's in every situation. And it's what can I change at work with myself, right? So you get into a situation with someone at work and you're not looking at the other person, right? So your focus is not on the other person ever. It's not on the situation. It's not on that. When you're talking about self-reflection, it's always on you first. I think someone said that when you point at somebody, you can point one finger at somebody, but you got three other fingers pointing back at you. You can't say the thumb because it's not a finger and it's not pointing back at you. But the other three are pointing right back at you. That means the focus has to be on us. Everybody, the focus has got to be on us. If the focus is not on us, we are not self-reflecting. The moment you start blaming somebody, the moment you're saying, oh, they made me mad, they made me do it. If this person didn't do that, then I wouldn't have. Or if that system didn't do that, then I wouldn't have. Or that is not self-reflection. When you start casting blame on somebody else, you are not reflecting on yourself anymore. And the moment you leave from self-reflection is the moment you give away your power. It's the moment you can no longer change. It's the moment you start taking on bad habits. And these are the bad habits, the worst habits, some that make you a victim, some that make you helpless, some that just put bad beliefs in you. So it's very, very, very important for us to self-reflect. It's got to happen. We've got to do it. So that's what self-reflection is. It's looking at yourself, analyzing your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your behaviors, analyzing all that, and then thinking about what can I do different? What can I change? Because again, if we don't self-reflect, we cannot change. So I touched on this a little bit, but let's move to the next part. Why should we self-reflect? Why is it even important? Why am I even talking about this? What does this have to do with self-love and not giving up and boundaries and unconditional? What does that have to do with personal responsibility? What does that have to do with any of this stuff? Dr. Keith, I'm glad you asked, Because I heard you through the video. I'm glad you asked. Because we have to get our power back, right? When we're born, right? I already talked to you guys about us being gods before, okay? Little g. But I've talked to you about that and how we are very, very powerful, a lot more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. But we have zero access to that power if we play the blame game, if we cast off all responsibility. If you blame your mom and your dad and your girlfriend and your boyfriend and your husband and your wife and your boss and the system and the white man and the black man and all these other people, when you start blaming everybody, you are literally giving your power away. You are taking your godhood and throwing it away. No power. That's what happens when you don't self-reflect. You give your power away and you become a victim, and you become a victim of circumstance. And then because you gave all your power away, people are going to now use that same power against you. They're going to use it to control you, because guess what? Someone has to be in control. So either you are controlling yourself through self-reflection, or other people are going to control you, and other people are going to trigger you. And other people are going to control your emotions and your actions and your thoughts. And while you think you're getting ahead, you're not. While you think you're okay, you're not. While you think you're self-righteous, and yet, no, you're not. You lost. The moment you stopped self-reflecting is the moment you lost. It's the moment you stop moving forward. This is why it's so important to self-reflect, because it's about retaining our power. It's about retaining the power to control how we think, how we feel, how we behave, and move. And the moment we start playing the blame game is the moment we start giving our power away. Now, I don't know how many people out here play video games or have played video games before, but I use this analogy with my students. So I ask them, do they play video games? And they say yes. And I say, well, how do you control the video game? And they said, well, we use a controller. And I said, well, what does a controller allow you to do? And they say, well, it allows you to control what's going on in the game. I said, okay. So now what happens if you don't have a controller? Well, we can't play the game. And I say, so you would say that you have no control over the game? They would say, yeah, there's no control over the game. I'm like, you got it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When you start playing the blame game, when you start casting off all responsibility, when you start saying, I can't control what I think and I can't control what I feel and it's not my fault and they're forcing me to do this and all this stuff like that, you are taking the controller, right? Because this game is kind of like the game of life. You're taking the controller, the thing that controls your life, and you are handing it to somebody else. That is what you're doing when you don't self-reflect. You're taking the controller and you're handing it to somebody else. And you have to pray and hope that whoever you hand it to has your best intentions in heart. Unfortunately, a lot of times they don't. This is why it's so important for us to self-reflect. Self-reflecting gives you control back over your life. And even if your life is a mess, at least you now have the power to look at it and say, dang, this thing sucks. This is bad. Listen, I understand some people don't want to self-reflect, and I can understand why. I want you to imagine this. Imagine you're some guy that's been dogging out women for years. Imagine he's been having kids all over the place. Imagine he's been doing this for 17 years, so now he has all these kids all over the place that grew up without a father. And now it's time for him to sit down and self-reflect. Self-reflect on how his daughters and his sons grew up without a father, how they had to go through hardships, how other people had to step in, how he has to reconcile with God if he's a person of a faith. He has to look and see, dang, I messed up everybody's life. That is not an easy thing to do when it comes to self-reflection. Imagine if you got someone a disease and you got to reflect on that. Imagine if it was your fault. Think about Enron, the big energy company in Texas. Imagine if it's your fault that all these people lost all their life savings, that you destroyed an entire community because of your behaviors. Imagine having to stop and look back on that. Thinking about COVID. Imagine if you were one of the people that messed up and allow COVID to get out. Now imagine having to self-reflect on that. So let me not sit here and just pretend and try to trick you or anybody else into thinking self-reflection is all sunshine and rainbows. It's not. It is not sunshine and rainbows, because you're looking at the ugly part of yourself. We're looking in the mirror and we're seeing the mess we made. But here is the thing. If you don't self-reflect, you're going to continue to do the same thing and make the same mistakes and keep in the same mess. The sooner you start self-reflecting, the sooner you can start fixing your behaviors. So all these situations I recognized and talked about just now, yeah, it might suck. It might hurt. You might have to go to jail. You might have to pay an exorbitant amount of money. You might have to do so many different things. But at least now you are in control. Because when you're in control, that's when change can happen. And I'm glad I painted this bleak picture of self-reflecting at the end of this part right here, because now I'm going to go into the benefits of it, right? Yay! We're going to go to the benefits. And this is going to be a part 2 of this as well, because I don't want to drag this on too long. And part 2 is going to have a lot of strategies on how to self-reflect. But I really want to finish this out talking about the benefits. The benefits, oh my gosh. I'm not going to be able to list them all. I'm going to tell you that right now, because there are so many benefits. So many benefits to self-reflecting. It's astronomical. It's out of this world. There's no way I can name them all. So I just kind of picked a few that, kind of generally fall in line with most people and just wrote those down and we're talking about those. So the first one is empowerment. Been talking about that through this whole thing so far. Empowerment. It gives you your power back. The power to make a decision and change your life. The power to do something different. Self-reflecting gives you your power back. It empowers you. It powers you up. It makes you strong again. It makes you powerful again. It gives you your godhood back. That's one of the best parts of self-reflecting, because it gives you your godhood back. Now, another benefit of self-reflecting is greater emotional and physical and thought control. Yes, when you're able to self-reflect, when you're able to analyze situations, you're able to control your emotions a lot better. People can't trigger you as much. You can see the gaslighting. You can see the narcissist. You can see the people who are trying to throw you off. You can see the traps that people are trying to get you in, because you have more emotional and thought control. You don't let your thoughts run wild anymore. When those thoughts come up, and I'll even share something with me. Like, there are times when thoughts come up in my head about people, and it's like, oh man, I can't believe they didn't help, or I can't believe this, or I can't believe that, I can't believe they said this or they said that, and da-da-da-da, and oh my gosh, and this is what I'm gonna do. And so then my mind tries to go into, because when I was younger, my mind used to go into this mode of like, ooh, this is the offense that I received, and now this is what I'm gonna do to plan if it should happen. And I'm like, no. That's incorrect. I know these people. They don't act like that. They don't think like that. They're not coming off that. And even if it did come off that way, I know them well enough to know that that's not the way they mean it. So I start killing the thought immediately. And when I kill the thought, I kill all the emotions that are associated with that thought. And that stops any type of behavior that would throw me off from being who I am. Self-reflecting. Because I'm looking at myself like, you're assuming. That's the assumption monster. And if you want to know about the assumption monster, that's on some of my other social media, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. I had a video about that. But the assumption monster, I'm not going to let the assumption monster take over. So because I have that greater control, because I self-reflect, because I look at myself and say, hey, you made mistakes too. You said things too. It allows me to have greater thought and emotional control. More peace. Who doesn't want more peace in their life? Everybody wants more peace in their life. I want more peace in my life. Self-reflecting allows us to have more peace in our life. Why? Because when you self-reflect, you can look at a situation and you can identify, is this something I can control or something I can't control? And if it's something I can't control, guess what? I let it go. Can't deal with it. It's not for me. I just let it go. I don't worry and wring my hands or I don't do all that. Dang, well, that sucks. Try to help the person. They don't want it. Hey, keep it pushing. What are you gonna do? Oh, well, this situation happened. Can't do anything about it. Oh, well, hey, gotta keep it pushing. What am I gonna do? I have more peace in my life. We have more peace in our lives when we self-reflect and look at a situation for what it is instead of what we think it is. Worrying about things we can't control and can't change. You let it go, accept it for what it is, and let it go. More peace. Feel that. Just do that one more time. Feel that peace. One more time. That's some peace for you right there, boy. Hey, self-reflect and breathing. We'll talk about breathing and stuff too, but get that peace, all right? Now, the flip side of that is more productivity. You can be more productive when you self-reflect. Why you be more productive? It's tied to that peace part, right? Because if you're able to identify what can't change, what you have no power over to change, then you're also able to identify the things you can change. So because now if you focus all your energy on what you can change, then guess what? You'll be able to make progress. You'll be more productive. If I'm focusing on what I can change, I'm being more productive. Guess what? These podcasts are things I can control, I can change. So I'm more productive with the podcast. So more peace, more productivity. Oh man, listen, this is phenomenal. Listen, the next benefit, faster progress. I mentioned earlier, but those who self-reflect, they will see the error of their ways and be able to change them and then not do them again in the future. When I say faster progress, I'm saying because if someone who's self-reflecting is able to say, okay, I made that mistake, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm going to change this, or I'm going to alter this, and I'm not going to blame it, I'm just going to do this, I'm going to change that, I'm going to change that. Guess what? They're going to make more progress than someone who's like, oh, it's a system's fault. Oh, it's my parents' fault. Oh, it's my spouse's fault. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Listen, the person who's willing to take responsibility, that self-reflect and change is going to make progress faster. Instead of sitting there crying about the teacher and how mean the teacher is and how bad the teacher is and the teacher can't teach and da-da-da-da-da, they're like, nah, bro, I can't. Okay, let's say the teacher sucks. Let's say the teacher is garbage, grade A trash. Can't teach a lick. Can't control that, can you? But what the person says is, this is what I can control. So this is what I'm going to focus on. Okay, so they're not teaching me that, so I got to go on YouTube, or I got to get a tutor, or I got to link up with my buddies, or I got to do whatever. Like, that person's going to make more progress faster in whatever area of their life. Doesn't matter what it is, because they're looking at themselves and they're looking at, what can I change? What can I do? What can I do? What can I change within myself to adjust to this situation so I can make more progress and move along? So, faster progress. Improved relationships. That's another one. Improved relationships. Yes, your relationships are going to be better if you self-reflect. Why? Because if you offend somebody, if you hurt somebody, you'll be able to fix it a lot quicker. You'll be able to change your behaviors. You'll be able to learn people a lot better. And people want to be around people like that. It's not necessarily saying we got to be perfect. This is the whole thing about self-reflected. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And so when we self-reflect and we're around people and they recognize that, dang, he takes responsibility for his behaviors and actions. Oh, sweet. I like that. Hey, I can mess with this guy. I can rock with this woman because we self-reflect. We don't blame any of the other people. We get things right. We want to be around people like that. I want to be around people like that. I don't want to be around people who are like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, I was right. Oh, you were. I don't want to be around someone like that. Like, bro, you kick rocks, keep it pushing, man. I don't want to be around you, man. Like, I'll deal with you when I got to deal with you, but outside of that, I don't want to deal with you. So this is improved relationships. Your relationships are going to be better with your spouse, with your kids, in your church, in your community, in your job, wherever you are. It's going to be better. Another one. Faster conflict resolution. Faster conflict resolution. If you're able to self-reflect and find out what you did wrong right away, you're able to resolve conflict faster. It just makes sense. If I misspoke and I self-reflect and I recognize that, dang, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to hurt him. I didn't mean to do that. Then guess what? I'm able to resolve the conflict faster. Hey, listen, I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I got something, had something going on, or whatever. Sometimes you don't even got to make a reason or excuse. I know for me, when I apologize, I don't make an excuse for any of my behaviors. I simply say, hey, I apologize. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Or I'm sorry that my behaviors had that effect on you. Faster conflict resolution. That's a reason why I don't have a lot of issues with a lot of people, because I self-reflect. And if I do something wrong, I apologize. I fix it. If I can't fix it, I learn from it and don't do it again. And the last one that I came up with was it increases your earning potential. Yes, it increases your earning potential. Now you're probably thinking, man, Dr. Keith, how does it do that? How does self-reflection increase your earning potential? You want to know why? You want to know how? It increases your earning potential because, again, you're looking at yourself. What can you do? How can you change the situation? How can you provide for your family? What skills can you bring to bear? Like, it allows you to be an entrepreneur. It allows you to be creative. But if you sit back and be like, well, this is just the way it's going to be, You know, my mom was a factory worker. My dad was a factory worker. You know, I'm going to be a factory worker. My parents were educators. I'm going to be an educator. You know, there's just no other way to make money, you know, or, oh man, the economy is bad. Oh, well, you know, sucks to be me. You know, just roll the dice. That's just the way it is. Come on, man. You want to think like that instead of self-reflecting and be like, nah, bro, you just lazy. You're not trying to be creative. You're not using your mind. You're shutting yourself down. You're using excuses. Someone who self-reflects is like, hey, listen, junk hit the fan. What can I do to still produce? What can I do to make more money? How can I utilize my skills and bring all my knowledge stuff to bear in order to make money? Is it a business? Am I tutoring? Am I speaking? Am I writing books? Am I drawing? Am I consulting? Like, what am I doing? What am I bringing to bear? Listen, this was never more true than during the pandemic, because stuff hit the fan and all the way we did business changed just like that. And so people had to think on their feet. And I said at the very beginning, I said there's going to be people that come out of this pandemic filthy rich. Not because they're exploiting people, but because they're going to be resourceful. Because they're going to be like, hey, listen, this is the situation we're in. What am I going to do to still move forward, to still make progress, to still make money, to still keep this business afloat? What am I going to do that? And they save their business and increased their earning potential. It's the same thing for any of us, but you got to self-reflect. You'll be surprised how many resources and how much knowledge and how much skills you have within you right now. And you won't find out until you self-reflect. So everybody, listen, this is running a little bit long, but in any case, I'm going to wrap it up right here. Guys, self-reflect. It will change your life. It will change your life. I promise you, if you start self-reflecting, it will change your life. I'm going to give you one more example. When we look in the mirror in the morning, sometimes we don't like what we see. Sometimes our hair is bad. Sometimes we got a pimple. Sometimes our lips are chapped. Sometimes our breath is just hot. You know, sometimes our face is greasy. Sometimes it's too dry. There's things that we see our flaws. But think about it like this. When you see your flaws, do you just sit there and be like, well, I guess it's just the way it is. Not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to do anything to fix these pimples. Not going to do my hair. Not going to brush my teeth. Not going to do my goatee. Not going to do anything like that. No. You look at the flaws. You look at them and you say, what can I change? And you change it. And that's why y'all come out the house looking so good. I know y'all come out the house looking good. I know y'all do. And that's because you're able to self-reflect. And when you look in the mirror, you're like, dang, I look good. Yes, you do, because you're able to self-reflect. Now imagine that exact same feeling in every area of your life. That is the power of self-reflecting. If y'all need any help, guys, I can't wait. This whole series is going to be on fire, man. It's going to be great. Next time we come back, we're going to be talking about how to self-reflect. So I want you to take all this in, internalize all the benefits. I want you to get yourself excited because the next one's coming. It's going to be phenomenal. And your life's going to be changed. Promise you. If you put these things into effect, life's going to be changed. Guarantee it. I love y'all. I want y'all to have a great, awesome, and blessed day or night or afternoon or whatever time of day you're watching this. And I will see you all soon.